Hello, and welcome to the Maternity Diary. I think the milestones are a very beautiful thing, but milestones tend to give a lot of pressure and put a lot of pressure on parents, especially new parents whose kids have not achieved a milestone by a certain time. And so I'm not a firm believer of milestones, celebrating milestones so openly, just because I feel there are some parents that might be going through so much stress because maybe their babies cannot walk at a certain age, or they're not able to do the pincer finger movement at a particular age. And so today what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my top 8 tips for helping your child to crawl, helping your child to walk. Okay, and this actually is not it's not a ticket to it's actually happening, but I mean, it's worth trying out certain things that can help your child to crawl quickly. And so stay tuned, and we are live. Mummies and mummies to be, yummy daddies and daddies to be. Welcome again to the Maternity Diary. It's so exciting when your child takes the first step walking, or they begin to crawl. Oh my god, I remember the days when my kids started crawling, and even when my kids started like doing the overturn, like turning from the back to the front and from the back to the front. It was so exciting for me. I have very beautiful videos because I would set up the camera and try to take videos just in case it happened, so that I don't miss some of these opportunities. And it was so amazing. And I think that there are certain things that you can do as a parent to encourage your child to do some of these activities, to cross these milestones. And let me mention, every baby is different. Every baby is different. So even if your child, sometimes you may have 2 children, 3 children, and they will be completely different from each other. The times to achieve a certain milestone is totally different from the other. So don't overly stress yourself when it comes to achieving milestones, unless of course you are genuinely concerned that it could affect the health of the baby. Then you know what to do. Just go straight to your doctor, okay, to discuss your concerns to them. So for me, one thing I did was to make sure that doing these things, achieving these milestones, were fun, not just for the baby, but for me as well, because that helped to release the stress, that helped to reduce how much stress I was having in terms of getting my child to roll, getting my child to crawl, getting my child to walk. I had to make sure it was fun for me. And so I'm going to share my top tips for that. So that being said, number one on the list is try not to wear footwear for your child. I know there are so many parents that, I have a lot of friends actually that are used to having their child wear shoes or footwear during this time because they believe it helps them. But on the contrary, no shoes is what would encourage them, because imagine the child is trying to walk or crawl and then the shoes are impeding them, like they can't even feel the natural ground. Okay, so stability is sometimes even affected and all of that. So please do not wear shoes for your child when you're trying to achieve these milestones, like crawling milestones, walking milestones. Don't wear any shoes. Okay, so number 2 is dress properly, dress appropriately. I'm not saying go wear your Christmas dress or get the child to wear like some suit. No, that's not what I mean. So what I mean by dressing appropriately is, for example, if you're going to go to the gym, you're not going to wear like a dress like what I'm wearing to the gym. No, you're going to wear dresses that would allow you to be able to would aid in your mobility and your movement, not to soak the sweat very well. And yeah, so you have to dress appropriately. You dressing appropriately, let your child also dress appropriately. They can be naked, it also works well. They don't have to wear like really thick clothes that would impede their movements, or even like sometimes we wear lounge wears for the kids, and these can impede their movements or even be a bit slippery for them when they're trying to crawl. Okay, number 3 on the list for me is use your child's favorite toys or items. You may have your child not really be a fan of certain toys. Maybe they like the kitchen ladle or the kitchen ladle or a particular kitchen utensils. Look, trust me, my kids loved those things even more than the toys that they had. They even loved the remote. They loved my phone more than the toy phones that they had. So you can use those things to lure your child to crawl. So for instance, if you know what their favorite toy is, you can put it at a distance, put them at another distance. Make sure there's nothing like impeding their movements, nothing that is blocking them, and they can clearly see these favorite items ahead, and you stand behind where the favorite item is and encourage them to come. Trust me, like, be on the floor with them. Like, it's really important for you to be on the floor with them, because imagine, like, kids learn by example a lot of times, and so when they see you doing something, trust me, they will follow what you're doing. So if you're on the floor with your hands down and you're like calling them hi hi hi, they're definitely going to come. Okay, number 4, even if like you're not in the process of like making them walk or encouraging them to walk or crawl, just try to spend a lot of time on the floor. It's really important. Like, spending a lot of time on the floor, it's immeasurable. Look, trust, when I had my kids, I'm telling you, like, I spent at least 80% of my time on the floor with them, especially through play. Sometimes we are not playing, they're just sitting. Like, even when you're like trying to get your child to sit, like before 6 months, so at 3 months, 4 months, you want your child to learn how to sit, and they have to be able to sit before they can even do some of these things. So I ended up like spending a lot of time sitting on the floor with my child in between my legs, and we are watching TV, for instance, or we are playing with a toy, he's in between my legs and the back is right on my tummies for support, and that really encourages the kids. So even if you're not even in the action of trying to get your child to walk or crawl, just spend a lot of time on the floor. Let them get used to being on the floor. They shouldn't always be in the couch or in their swing. No, spend a lot of time on the floor. Okay, so another tip that I have is, I did say that there shouldn't be any obstacles in the way when you are attracting them to their favorite toys. However, there are certain times when you have to put certain obstacles. Maybe there's a pillow that they like, or even for me, I remember I made like a little tunnel from the diaper boxes. Like, one thing I use very often for different things is the diaper boxes, because I don't like to just throw them away. Like, you're running on diapers every month, buying like 2 boxes of diapers every month, and what's the best way to, instead of throwing it away, I usually try to find something to do with it. So for example, like, I have my Huggies diaper box that has like drawings on it, so my child will color it. But then after all of this, what's next? I make tunnels with these boxes, and I make sure I be at the other side, and I'm like, come, or I try to get the older one to crawl through. You see, the younger one also tries to go through, and it really encourages movement for the kids. Okay, the next tip is, make sure that where you are doing your practice most of the time is very safe. Don't have any rickety furniture or anything that could be of harm to your child. For instance, rickety furniture your child is trying to hold, or maybe they're trying to walk and they're about to fall, they try to hold on. If this furniture is not good, it means that you're going to trip and fall. And some kids will feel like, oh, I fell the last time, I don't want to do it again, you know. So you try to make it a very safe place for them. Even if you have to cushion them with pillows at some point, you do that, okay? Create that safe space for them. Okay, next tip that I have is let them play with others as much as you can, especially in this COVID. Like, sometimes it's difficult for you to meet other kids and to encourage play. But look, kids learn a lot from watching other kids. Look, there were so many times when my baby wasn't walking, he was just crawling. I remember, let's say he sees other kids walking and his eyes are fixated on their legs. And I'm sure he's wondering, how are they moving the legs so swiftly? How are they running so swiftly? And he can just be looking like this so much. So I knew for sure my kids were going to walk early because they were always so interested in the legs of other kids moving around. So if you can just get other kids involved with crawling, playing like the peekaboo, crawling games, and it would encourage them greatly to participate with it. You see, one thing is, even people say daycares, when you take your kids to daycare very early, especially like within their age group, they tend to walk earlier, talk earlier, and do a lot of activities earlier because they are seeing other kids and they're like, wait, I don't want to be left out, I need to join them. And my last tip for this is, please make it as much fun as possible. Look, the child can feel when you're stressed out. Your child can feel when you're stressed out. I remember when I was like doing potty training for my son, that was my first son. The first time I tried, I think he sensed that I was stressed out. So he wasn't like, he would sit on the potty and he's like, no, I don't want to sit on the potty. And I was always stressed. I was like, oh God, can you just sit on the potty? Just try to That doesn't encourage them at all. So just try to make it as fun as possible. They can sense your emotions, they can sense your anxiety, they can sense everything. So make it fun. Don't put too much pressure on yourself that by all means you should have achieved the milestone by the end of the day or by a certain time. No, just make it as much fun as possible. And trust me, in making it fun as possible, you will take out the stress element of trying to make your child achieve the milestone by a certain time, and that actually encourages them to continue even faster, like to continue to try more and more. So make it fun, okay? If it means you're going to put some stickers somewhere for them to be attracted to, do that. Whatever, you know your child best, you know what they like, you know what makes it fun for them, so you can adopt those things during that time. Fun shouldn't only be when you're playing, but then you can play during this, you can have fun during this time while you're trying to encourage them to walk, encouraging them to crawl. Okay, so I hope today's video would help some of you. If there are tips that you think that I could have added to it, please tell me in the comment section. I would love to learn from you. Look, parenthood is a forever cycle of learning, and you never stop learning. Even if you've had 10 kids, even if you had 10 kids, you may learn a thing or two from someone who has just one kid or about to have one child. So please do tell me in the comment section if there's any other pointers that I missed that other parents can read and will be helpful to them. Please don't forget to like my videos, guys. Like the videos. Look, liking doesn't change anything, it doesn't spoil anything. Okay, subscribing doesn't spoil anything. Like, come on, guys, please show me some love, because I do love you guys. Okay, show me some love, hit the subscribe button, share with all your family and friends, and I bet every one of you has at least 50 contacts that you can share it to, and that gives me multiple of 50 subscribers and force them to subscribe. Okay, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, stay happy, stay healthy, stay beautiful, and never ever forget that God loves you. See you next time.